Yo, I'm literally recording this like 5 minutes after Austria and Algeria ended. That was a crazy end. I had the Argentina game on, obviously, because Messi, that free kick and everything. I tuned into the Austria game at basically the 90th minute because I thought, may as well. Don't want to miss anything. It's 2-2. Algeria's just passing the ball around. I think it's just going to get seen out. Next thing I know, Algeria scores, and I'm like, oh, Austria's out now. Iran's in. And then 2 minutes later, Austria score. They draw, and now Iran's out again. So, it's crazy. It really is. But we are here, obviously, because now the knockouts are here. Of course, I got to get this out immediately because the knockout games start tomorrow. So I have to record it now. Just going to get straight into it and has everything correct, which is good. Good on ESPN. I'm just going to start from the top, go down from the bottom, talk about every team that's made it so far at least. RIP to the fallen nations, like the Uzbekistans of the world and the Qatars. Iran just missing out on the last second. Nations like those. Hopefully you guys get another chance soon, maybe the next World Cup. Except Tunisia, you guys suck. I'm saying that because that was a awful tournament for them. And most embarrassingly, in my opinion, Uruguay. Yo, guys, were embarrassing. Yes, I did not mention all the nations. You know what? Quick sidetrack. This is my group stage. So I guess you're going to see. Yeah, I did pretty good on the group stage, by the way. So don't want to flaunt. Just want to say RIP to all the teams that did not make it through. We lost Korea. Not good from them at all. They have a way too talented team to finish third. It was an embarrassing loss to South Africa, who, in my opinion, were one of the worst teams in this tournament. And you just lost to them. You can't do that. Just got knocked out on the last day there. Unfortunate for South Korea. And Czechia, they were just not good. I thought they were going to be a little better. They just weren't. So, unfortunate for them. I mean, I still had them fourth, but I didn't think they were going to be that embarrassing. Qatar, like I mentioned, I don't know how you guys keep winning Asian Cups. You guys are not good. Then Haiti, we were happy to see you here. Guys obviously weren't good. And Scotland, my friends. As an England fan, you know I have to gloat a bit. We smoking on that Scotland pack. You guys cannot win 1-0 to Haiti, lose both of your other games, and expect you guys to get out. You can't do that. Especially losing the way you did against Brazil. Getting absolutely thrashed like that. It's an embarrassing performance for Scotland. And I believe their coach stepped down as soon as they learned they weren't going to make it through. So, see what they do next time, obviously. I got this whole group wrong. Turkey, you guys are embarrassments. I don't care that you beat us on the final day. That was an embarrassing tournament from y'all. You were projected to top your group by literally everyone, first of all. And you win one game when you were already eliminated. You lost to Australia. You lost to Paraguay. That just doesn't make any sense, especially with the talent they had. It's just unfortunate for Turkey. Bad tournament from them. You got your pity win against us, but you still went home. Curacao, we love to see you here. That performance against Ecuador, I believe. Yeah, that performance against Ecuador where you literally had your goalkeeper save 15 shots. One of the best goalkeeping performances I've seen. It was amazing to see you guys here. I rooted for y'all. The whole qualification process. Don't know if you guys are going to get seen again, but who knows? It's possible. Tunisia, you guys were terrible. I'm just not going to say anything else. You guys were terrible. and it's unfortunate that you were. Iran. You can't draw all 3 games and expect to be good. You drew all 3 games. And I know there was a lot of VAR stuff like that. You just can't do it. You can't do it. In New Zealand, of course, I always root for my Kiwis, but they were just not good enough, especially since being put in a group with Belgium and Egypt. It was a surprise that they even got that draw to Iran in the first place. So, next, Uruguay. Complete embarrassment from you guys. You won 2 World Cups. You guys should be doing better. Cabo Verde, you got second place. We love you guys. I'm just mentioning them because they did it. It's such a shock that Cabo Verde placed over Uruguay. Legitimate embarrassing from the Uruguayans. And, of course, Saudi Arabia, you just got placed in a bad group. I know you're better than this. Apparently, all 3 teams in your group are at least decent, except Uruguay, obviously. And Spain. Iraq, we also like to see you here. Unfortunately, African champions, Erling Haaland and Mbappe, you just got screwed. Let's be honest. Senegal, by the way, we're the last 3rd place team to make it out. So, congratulations on them. Jordan, it was also good to see you guys here. Again, Messi. But the other 2 teams you could beat, so I don't know about that. Uzbekistan, I really thought you guys were going to do better. You didn't. You really did not do good. I expected you to do better after that performance in, what was it, the Asian Cup? You played really well there. Just did not play good in this group. Should have had at least 1 draw. Just not good. By the way, Portugal, you guys were also embarrassing. Drawing twice. Is that? Yeah, drawing twice. Just not good enough whatsoever. We're going to miss out on a Messi-Ronaldo match, which is unfortunate. And in the last group, Panama, I thought you were going to be eliminated anyways, but not scoring a goal throughout the entire tournament was a little bit embarrassing. So, but yeah, my group stage was honestly really good. Surprisingly. I had 6 perfect groups. I was in the 77.8 percentile. But it is now time to go to what you guys really care about, obviously. The bracket. Try not to take too long, but, it might take a bit. Germany, Paraguay. Paraguay was in the U.S. group. They really did not play good against the U.S., obviously. They got destroyed. Beat Turkey. And then the last game was 0. I'm not too high on this team. And Germany likes to beat up teams. They really do. So I'm pretty scared for Paraguay. I think Germany are going to easily handle this game. Give me Germany. Probably 3-0, 4-0 result. Maybe Paraguay sneaks in a goal, but who knows. France versus Sweden. France, obviously, perfect group stage. Mbappe looking for, what is it, the Golden Boot? I think it's the Golden Boot. And then Dembele, too. He got, a hat trick on that last game. Of course, Norway, they played their backups and stuff. But you got 2 players looking for the Golden Boot, and you're going up against Sweden. Now, Sweden backdoored their way into the competition to begin with. Shouldn't have even been here. Barely snuck out after having a terrible game to the Netherlands, where they got destroyed, although they did destroy Tunisia. And I believe they drew to Japan. I am not high on this Swedish team at all. I'm going to be shocked if they get a goal. Give me a calm little Mbappe brace to send France through. South Africa versus Canada. Like I said, I am not high on South Africa at all. I think they're one of the worst teams to make it through. And then Canada, they really weren't impressive either. I'm not going to lie. They had home games. They had the home field advantage. You're hosting the tournament, and you don't top your group. I know that Switzerland is a better team than you, obviously, but I think you should be topping your group. Let's be honest. Not high on either of these teams. I think whoever wins the matchup in Netherlands-Morocco probably beats either one. I'm gonna slightly lean with Canada, but who knows? Netherlands-Morocco, I think this is going to be a very defensive-heavy game. We all know Morocco. They got the AFCON because they sort of courted, I guess you can call it. They use the courts, obviously. And then the Netherlands, they actually, if you guys didn't know, have not lost a game in the World Cup, I believe, since 2010. Every time they lose, it is because of a penalty shootout in the knockout rounds, which technically count as a draw. So this is going to be a very defensive game. I honestly think it could go 0-0, 1-1 into extra time and then penalties. And Morocco, they're decent at penalties. However, I think I would lean with the Netherlands just a bit. I think I'd lean with them. They just seem like a little better team at penalties. Obviously, because we all know Mr. Brahim Diaz, I believe, did not score that Panenka. If you know, you know. Portugal, Croatia. Now, this is a very interesting game. Obviously, Portugal, only reason they're here is because they absolutely sold the group to Colombia. Of course, just the bad performance against DR Congo was really what sold it, obviously. You got to win that game off. You got to win that game. You got to win that game. It's unfortunate for them. They're on a harder side of the bracket. I think that Croatia, however, are going to be an easier team to beat. Then, honestly, I think Croatia are going to be the easier team to beat over Ghana, because Ghana's defense is really good. And now, of course, I know Croatia beat them today. However, as a England fan, do not sleep on that Ghanaian team. This one could go into the extras. I'm leading Portugal. Maybe Ronaldo gets a goal. He needs a knockout goal, obviously. So I'm going to lean Portugal just a bit, even though they were a little bit embarrassing in the group stages. I think in the knockout rounds is where they're going to pick it up. Now, Spain and Austria. Austria, you guys got lucky. You just barely made it. Last second winner, just like pretty much 10, 15 minutes ago. I don't know when I started recording, of course. But now you got to face Spain. And one thing you ought to know about Spain is that they are the tournament favorites, of course. After a shock draw to Cabo Verde, they turned it on, destroyed Saudis, and they handled Uruguay. They didn't really destroy them, but they won 1-0. That's all they needed. It wasn't the strongest outing for them in their group. However, they did top the group. Austria, they've been disappointing. They haven't been as good as I thought they would be, and I think Spain is going to handle them pretty easily. 2-0, 3-0 win. Comfortable Spain win. Now, the U.S., they have gotten a lucky date with the Bosnians. Now, Bosnia, for the first World Cup in like probably 20 plus years, they played pretty well. They took a draw against Canada. They got their win against, Qatar, just to get through. But now you got to face this U.S. team. And one thing you got to know about this U.S. team is that they are good. Contrary to popular belief, they are good. You know, you got Pulisic, you got Ballot. I'm not going to go through all their players. I think the USA wins. It might get a little scary, obviously, but I think the U.S. will take it. Unfortunately, they're going to have to face one of Belgium and Senegal because Egypt wanted to bottle the group away somehow. Still makes me mad, obviously. You know, I don't know how they bottled the group away. We would have got a way easier matchup. But now we got this Belgium squad. I've always seen Belgium as overrated. You know, they started it off with a draw to, what was it? Egypt. And then they drew again. They drew again to Iran when they were on 10 men. Well, Belgium were the ones on 10 men, but still. You're lucky you had New Zealand in your group because you could have got grouped again. And, of course, Senegal, they just barely made it. However, these are still the AFCON champions, or should be AFCON champions. So if they get in their groove, they can beat any team. So this is going to be a very interesting game. I would love to see Belgium get knocked out here. However, I think Belgium probably get a late winner, and they go on. I'm trying to decide if I want to go this way or go down. I'm going to finish this side of the bracket. I don't know. I just want to be a little quirky. Now, round of 16 actually presents a very interesting game. Germany, France. And if you don't know, France is pretty good against Germany. I think they've beaten the past few times. They beat them in the Euros for the third place, I think. Yeah, because they played Spain. No, they beat them in the Nations League, I mean. They beat them in the Nations League. They beat them a lot. I don't know why I'm hating on Germany, I'm not gonna lie. They have not really beat them a lot. However, I do think this French team is better than the German team. This is where Germany's World Cup ends. Just ran into a buzzsaw. Now, Canada, Netherlands. Unfortunate draw for Canada. Win your group. That's the only thing I gotta say. I think this Netherlands team is gonna beat Canada pretty handily and move on. Portugal, Spain. Now, we saw this in the Nations League final. Portugal can pull it off. Will they pull it off? With the performance they've had in this World Cup, I don't think so. I got Spain moving on. And call me biased. Call me a non-ball knower. But the USA can win this game against Belgium. They can do it. It's going to be hard. I know that. But they can win this game against Belgium. Why do I say that? Home field advantage, World Cup energy. The friendly they played, they were literally up 1-0, 1-1 at the half, and then we subbed in our backups, which obviously, if you saw against Turkey, our backups are terrible. They subbed in the backups. We got pummeled after that. So if our starters play the whole game, hey, who knows? I do honestly, genuinely think that the USA can pull it off, though. I've got them moving on to face Spain. Now, obviously we know that Spain are going to go through. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. This is where the U.S. runs ends. You know, obviously U.S. supporter. I'm not trying to be too biased. I don't think they're going to win against Spain. We don't have the goalkeeper to do it. We don't have the defense to do it. The offense might get a goal or two, but Spain's just too talented for us. And then we got the French and the Netherlands. Now, like I said, the Netherlands have not lost a game. They've only lost them on penalty shootouts since like 2010. However, I do think this French team are the first to break that streak. I think the French get 3 goals, Netherlands get 2 maybe, and France moves on to face Spain in the semifinals, which I will save because that is a bigger game. I will save that one. On the other side of the bracket, we've got Brazil and we've got Japan now. This is a very interesting one. I genuinely think both teams can win it. Japan, I think, could have been better in this tournament. I think they could have played better. But they played pretty decently. Obviously, Brazil have had a pretty decent tournament too. Vinicius is having probably the most underrated player tournament, at the least. They are, I don't know if they're going to be missing Rafinha, but they are missing Rafinha right now. So they could miss Rafinha, maybe. Would that be a big knock on this Brazil team? I don't think so. I think this one goes deep. I think this Japanese team can take Brazil deep. Can take this Brazil team deep. I think they will take this Brazil team deep. And in my first upset of the tournament, I do actually have Japan. moving on. This is going to be the first big upset of the knockouts. Obviously, I said USA over Belgium. However, that's later. So I think the first big upset of this tournament has Japan moving on. Now, we've got Norway and we've got... Voice crack. We've got Norway and we've got the Ivory Coast. Now, Norway really made me mad. I think we know why. These guys rested their starters, including Holland, for no reason when they could have won the group. Literally could have won the group. They decided not to. They wanted to be losers. Obviously, it's a better draw for them. They're on this easy bracket. But they could have won their group, and they decided to just rest all their players like bumps. So I do hope Ivory Coast win this game. I don't think they will, because, let's be honest, the Ivory Coast really didn't play the best. You know, they played Germany decent. I forgot who they won against. Was it Ecuador? Yeah, who cares? I got no one moving on. Erling Haaland probably gets a hat trick. Who knows? Mexico and Ecuador. This is interesting. Now, I think Ecuador can do something. However, Mexico is at a home field advantage. This one is hard. This one has me thinking a lot. I want to go with the upset. You know, I want to go with the upset. I really do. But do Ecuador have it in them? Are they really that good? I don't know. I'm leaning Mexico. I'm going to take Mexico. I think Ecuador really does have it in them. I think they can take them the extra time and maybe get a lucky goal. But I think this Mexico team is strong enough to win this game and move on. Next, we got just calm, good old little England. They're facing DR Congo. Now, you may think this is a very easy game, but as we saw against Ghana, and as we saw for nearly the entire match against Panama, England are not good at breaking down defensive teams. And obviously, the DR Congo are going to play a Harambal sort of tactic because they're going up against a juggernaut of England. So that scares me a bit. I still do think if it goes to penalties that England would take it. Because, let's be honest, I think England has the better penalty takers. I think Pickford's the better goalie too. But anything can happen. And we saw in like 2016 or 18 or something. It was 2016. These guys got beat by Iceland. So anything can happen when it comes to England. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Look, Vozinha, you had a good run. Argentina has Messi. If you guys beat Cape Verde, oh my goodness. If you guys beat Argentina, national monument, greatest nation of all time, we will forever love you. But I don't think it's going to happen. And of course, who gets to play Argentina? Australia or Egypt. Australia, very defensive team, very good at it. Obviously weren't as good when they faced the U.S., but pretty good defensive team. Egypt, they're decent. It's going to be an interesting game. I don't necessarily know who would technically be the favorite. However, I'm leaning with Egypt. I think Australia can win. I don't think they will win. I think Egypt takes it. Switzerland versus Algeria. Algeria, you guys got pretty lucky. One mistake and you could have been out, but you guys are here. Now you got to face Switzerland, who pretty much outside of a shocking draw to Qatar, where they literally just fell asleep for 70 minutes, basically, after they scored their first goal. They've had a pretty decent tournament, and I think they can handle Algeria pretty easily. I'm not in favor of their goalkeeper. They're just not that good. I think it's like Zidane's son or something. Plays for Algeria. He's not a good goalkeeper, let's be honest. Final game in the round 32 here. We've got Colombia and we've got Ghana. Obviously, this Ghana team, I'm pretty surprised they're here. They're ranked like 72nd in the world. They've played up to everything, really. They played way better than anyone would have thought. So, I'm very happy Ghana's here. Colombia, though, I think are a bit too strong. I think they can break down a defense better than England. So I'm going to take Colombia to move on. Moving down to the other half of the round of 16, I've got Japan and Norway, Mexico and England, Argentina, Egypt, Switzerland, Colombia. Japan, Norway. I think this is where Japan's run ends. Can they win this game? Yes, I'm going to be biased and say they can. But Erling Haaland, need I say more? Erling Haaland will probably get Norway through quarterfinals. Amazing result for the Norwegians. And now, we've got Mexico and we've got Egypt. We've got England. You can tell I'm tired. You can tell I'm tired. We've got Mexico and we've got England. Now, this game is scary for us England fans because this is going to be in Mexico. I think it's going to be in Mexico City even. It's going to be in Mexico City, the capital of Mexico. And Mexico's playing in it. So, the home field advantage is going to be vast. And if England plays like how England played against Ghana, they are going to lose this game. They are going to lose this game. However, after that win against Panama and a win against the DR Congo, I think England's going to play better, and especially since Mexico aren't a defensive team, they like to attack. I think England will break that down better and move on. Next, we've got Argentina and Egypt and Switzerland, Colombia. Egypt, this is the first time you made the knockout, so you made the round of 16. You guys did great. Unfortunately, Argentina has Messi. They're too good. They're going to win. Not even trying to be biased. They just are. And now we've got Switzerland and Colombia. Obviously, Colombia are going to be the betting favorite, I think. However, I actually am not really high on Colombia. And I think Switzerland pulls off the upset to move on. I'm feeling very Swiss. I don't know. Feeling very neutral for some reason. Yeah, I think the Swiss have it in them to pull off a Colombian upset. I think they can just get a goal, maybe get 2 quick wins, play defense throughout, and move on. Of course, then you'd have to play Argentina, but, you made it to the quarterfinals. That's good. Next, we got Norway and England, and can Norway win? Yes. The thing that scares me the most about this game as an England fan is our defense is not that good. It's not that good. And Haaland exists. So, I actually think this is going to be like 2-2, 3-3 going into penalties. And even though England sucks at penalties in the World Cup, they are going to win the penalties and move on. Yeah. Totally not biased. Totally not biased. Yeah. I think they can beat Norway, but can Norway win? Yeah, they can. Argentina, Switzerland. Can Switzerland pull off a miracle? No, I don't think so. I think Argentina are good enough. They're going to move on. Now, we've reached the semifinals. I'm just gonna break it out now. In my original prediction video, when I predicted everything, I did have England going to the finals. But I just think this Argentina team is too good. And unfortunately, I do have Argentina going to the finals. I know, I'm boring. I get it. I just think Argentina's the better team. And after how I've seen England play, I'm just too concerned about England to put them in the final. I think Argentina takes this one. And France versus Spain. This is going to get interesting. Obviously, Spain, being the favorites, beat them in the Nations League semifinals pretty badly until they decided they wanted to try and come back. It's going to be close. It's going to be 2-2, 3-3. It's going to go to extra time. And who do I think wins? Well, I don't actually think Spain can handle the power of this French team. I think Spain go out here. I think France move on to the final. I just think this French team is too good. And the Spanish team has some problems in it. Ferran Torres, he is really not that good. I'm pretty sure Nico Williams is injured. He's going to be out for a bit. I don't know how long, of course, but he's going to be out for a bit. I have a rematch. I think we all know it. We have France and we have Argentina back once again for retribution. In the third place match, England-Spain. Spain's going to be more dejected. England's, well, I'm not even going to be biased. Just give me Spain. Spain's going to win third place. England's going to walk home with nothing. I was really trying to be biased, but just thinking about it, I don't think England can beat Spain. This is why I'm so happy that if we were to meet them, we would meet them in the final. Because in the final, anything can happen. But in a third place where no one really cares, I think Spain are the better team and they will win. So unfortunate for that. Now, we have all eyes on the final. France and Argentina. Mbappe wants revenge. Messi wants his second in a row to make even more history because I'm pretty sure it's been at least 50 plus years since a team went back to back. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be just like last time's final. I was trying not to say last year's. I was about to, and then I stopped myself. This is going to be a really good game. I think I don't know. I don't know what I think. My mind's empty. I think in extra time, France wins it. I think it goes to extra time. It's either going to be 0-0 or 4-4. And it goes to extra time. And Kylian Mbappe, after already scoring a brace, scores a hat trick once again in the final. And France win the World Cup in front of Argentina's faces. And Messi, once again, he doesn't really care. He already won one the last time, but, he'd won another one for his legacy. He has nothing to prove, but who knows. I honestly think this French team is unstoppable. If anyone beats this French team, it's going to be a miracle. This team is probably the best team I've ever seen. I genuinely think they're more talented and better than the Spanish team. I think they're more talented and better than the Argentines. I think they're more talented and better than the English. I genuinely think this is one of the best teams we've ever seen. And a lot of people said, there'd be issues in the locker room because Mbappe is getting selfish. Obviously, don't listen to the guys. They're Real Madrid bums who don't actually know real talent because they're losers. They're going to say, since they're so talented, then there'll be embarrassments. They won't make it as far. This French team is just too good. They're just too good. I'm sorry. They're going to win the World Cup. And I think it's as much of a formality without it being a formality as a formality could be without being a formality. That is what I think is going to happen. Now, for the tiebreaker for the points. How many total corners will be taken? This might be the worst question I've ever seen. I honestly don't know. I'm just going to say 137. No, because there could be like at least 10 a game. 10 times 30 would be 300. I'm going to say 429. Yeah. 429 corners. We'll take that. My bracket is through. France wins the World Cup. Woo! We've seen this already. This is boring. I know. Yeah. But I'll probably have this out before the Canadian game. Should be at least. Anyway, I don't have much else to say. I'll see you guys later. Peace.